hey, more Smash Bros. Stuff happened. So, I know that I said I would put videos out more regularly. Kind of haven't. It's a whole thing. But let's focus here on what the title of the video is. And that is Smash Brothers. But, you can already see from the website who's there. You already got Nintendo telling you. You already got a bunch of other channels saying, what's happening. So I'm not going to go over news. I'm just going to say quickly the new characters revealed. Simon Belmont and Richter as an Echo Fighter. King K. Rool, Isabelle, and Chrom and Dark Samus also as Echo Fighters of people. Which I'm surprised Isabelle's not an Echo Fighter. They did do a lot of more original moves for her. I think that's very impressive. If only they could do it for Ganondorf. I don't know why they haven't, but hey, it's an idea. Throwing it out there. So what I want to do is I want to try and predict what's going to happen next. I want to look into my crystal ball and see if I can pull some information out from the future here. Now, this is all just educated guess. I'm not saying like this is rumors, this is leaks, none of that stuff. None of that stuff. Just right from my head what I think it's going to be. And first I'll talk about this hidden mode that they kind of revealed in the last video, that a lot of people say it's called Spirits. It's some kind of spirit mode. I mean, when they say spirit, you think something like from a long time ago, like a ghost of someone who died a long time ago. So that makes me think maybe it's like a bunch of the old adventure modes that they had before all in one game. Because like that's what Ultimate is. It is all the characters from the past games here. And so that makes me think, well, maybe they've like done an HD remake of the adventure mode from Melee. Maybe also an HD remake of the Brawl Subspace Emissary, which may be a bit off because, you've got characters with updated looks like Link. So that wouldn't match the cutscenes. If they redid the cutscenes, that would be kind of costly. For what reason? Then you'd have to add in new scenes for all these new characters. Otherwise it's just like, oh well, now you can unlock them after you complete the story. And I hated that they did that to Jigglypuff. That was really annoying as a Jigglypuff main. One of my favorite characters. That's just, I'm not happy about that. So maybe they'll do a little something with that. Probably bring back Smash Run if they're also bringing back other stuff, because Smash Run actually was fun. I liked facing off against all those different enemies. And probably Smash Tour, because, why not bring them all back? Even though I hated Smash Tour, it's like a worse Mario Party, even worse than 9 and 10. And if you've played 9 and 10, you know what I'm talking about. That was just like, why don't you wait to fight other people? Isn't that fun? Isn't it fun waiting to fight other people? No, it is not. Anyways, I'm not going to rant about that. So, yeah, that's what they say that is. But, they might have put that there. It may not even be Spirits. I think it is actually probably Special, but I've no way to confirm that. But I feel like that might just be a tease. Like, they'll probably reveal it and it'll be some completely different word or something like that. Because, I mean, with the leaks from Brawl and the leaks from Wii U and 3DS, I feel like they might be catching on to stuff like that and say, hey, you know what? Let's throw in a little something to kind of throw them off the scent. Let them speculate over that. And then, meanwhile, we're working on whatever this is, which I'm hoping is another story mode. But, we'll see what that amounts to. Because, I mean, I don't think Sakurai's the kind of guy to do the same thing twice. Like, in terms of a game being played, like, he likes to switch things up. So, if it is a story mode, it would probably be, like, it would probably have different elements to it, right? I mean, it would have to be a lot more unique. Otherwise, why would he go around making another one of those? Yeah, so that's just what I think about the story mode. As for characters, I feel like it's getting a bit easier. Like, Isabelle did throw me off a little bit, But like when I saw, okay, Simon Belmont's been revealed, oh, and King K. Rool too, it's like now I understand. They're listening to what people say. People wanted Crumb and they were upset that he was part of Robin's final smash in the previous game. Well, look at him. He's here. He's playable now. So I feel like if you kind of backtrack with memory, you'll be able to kind of guess who might come next. In terms of new characters, as in like characters who have been recently revealed, I feel hard pressed to say any of them are actually going to get in. Like Springman from the ARMS game and Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I mean, they are great characters. I'd like to see them in there. I've already thought of a few movesets up for some of them. But, because that was after the whole Smash vote, I'm not sure if they would even try and pay attention to that since they're not putting as many fighters in. So maybe they might just have like Springman and then that's it for the new fighters. I mean, technically Splatoon did come out in time for the Smash vote, and they even had the costume for the Inklings. So that made sense in that respect. So I feel like anything pre-Smash vote, you could almost nail it I'm not good with metaphors here. Anyways, you could probably guess it pretty accurately just by going back and seeing like which ones were the most favorite after Bayonetta and which ones were the most practical, because you're not counting Goku or Shrek or all the ones that are very, very unlikely to get in there. And even after Ridley gets in, he's in, doesn't mean anyone else like that's getting in, like Goku or something like that. That's not even video games, so that won't count. There was a leak, a supposed leak or rumor that Ken was going to appear in the game. I feel like they would have revealed that already, so I don't want to say he's going to be in the game unless it's like a assist trophy. I feel like that would be more accurate, because it's like, oh, just, take the, I guess it's not a sprite technically, just take the model for Ryu, put Ken's, colors and skin on there, and then just have him do a few of his moves. It's pretty easy. I mean, I don't get why he wasn't even like a palette swap of him. That made so much sense. Like, they do have their differences in the game. I know that. I admit that. But I don't feel like it's, considering that the original games, they were pretty much carbon copies of each other. I feel like that would be okay to put them in there because, it's two characters, they share the same moveset. Let them have their fun. Yeah, so new characters, again, I don't think there's much of a chance of them getting in there. Maybe only one, and it's probably going to be Springman because he's the newest. In terms of other characters, I feel like when Wii U, Smash Wii U, was still coming out in the 3DS version, when that was still coming out, and they did the whole Miiverse posts thing, I remember seeing a lot of attention for Ninten, which, if you don't know, that was the character's name in Earthbound Beginnings, the very first in the Mother series, although it might seem like a prequel to us, but no, that game did come out before the Earthbound that everyone else knows. So I feel like maybe you might get him there like as a clone of Ness, just like slightly different, kind of like Lucas is. I also want to say, out of all the characters from the original, like the original 12, like all of their franchises, excluding Yoshi's Island, because that's pretty much connected to Mario, so I don't want to say like, it's not completely different, but, I consider like when Daisy and Bowser Jr. are added, like that's counting towards Yoshi's Island, even though they don't get the egg. I feel like that little egg symbol for Yoshi is just kind of like, we're being nice to you, Yoshi. We're respecting how old you are, but you're still part of the Mario universe. So don't forget that. So yeah. Anyways, out of all those like franchises, the only one to only have one character now is the F-Zero franchise. And with this whole Echo Fighter system, I thought, hey, that'd be the perfect chance for them to introduce Blood Falcon, because he is actually a clone of Captain Falcon. That is canon in the F-Zero universe. It makes a lot of sense. But there's already, on the website, if you look at the pictures for him, you already see they have a picture of the Blood Falcon skin, palette swap, color swap. I don't know exactly what they call it. I call it skins. I'm used to saying skins. But you know what I mean. Like, you know, the alternate coloring, alternate costume, anything you want to call it like that. They already have a picture of that. That could be a tease, but I feel like they wouldn't be so, you know, like right in front of you there. They wouldn't be so obvious about it. They're more hidden things, not, oh, hey, we've revealed a character, but you don't even know it yet. Although I am hoping that I am wrong about that. But hey, you know what other character would be great from the F-Zero universe to have a move set similar to another character that's not from the F-Zero universe but has a similar move set to Captain Falcon? It's probably Black Shadow. Not to be confused with Dark Shadow! That's completely different. But Black Shadow was like the main antagonist of the sequels of the games. Not of the first game. He wasn't in the first game. But, you know, I feel like the fact that he is kind of considered like a wizard, it would have been perfect for them to, you know, for him to inherit the Ganondorf moveset with the Warlock Punch and the Wizard's Foot, because that fits his aesthetic. And then, hey, you've got another F-Zero character, and now you can give Ganondorf his own moveset. And, you know, there are a lot of people who have modded a lot of cool movesets into Ganondorf's repertoire. I don't get why they haven't thought about doing that themselves. You know, I'm guessing it's like, oh, well, you know, he's a classic character. We don't want people to have to choose between that now. But I mean, if you add Black Shadow, then people still get the gameplay they love, just with a different guy's face and model doing the moves. And then for people who were a fan of Ganondorf coming from the Zelda games, it's like, hey, I remember that move from Ocarina of Time. Hey, I remember that move from Link to the Past. Hey, I remember this and this and this. It's like, you know, it makes so much sense to me. I don't understand how they don't see this, but, you know, what's done is done. I'm not going to fight on it too long, so maybe when there's rumors of the next Smash Brothers, I'll get onto that. But I'm focusing on this one right now. Another character I feel like has a pretty good chance would be Banjo and Kazooie. Because back with the Smash vote, there was King K. Rool and Banjo Kazooie as, like, you know, these are the two characters that are going to get into the game. Like, they're going to win the Smash vote, or like one of them's going to win the Smash vote, and then they're going to be in. Like, that was what everyone thought. It was like a big upset when it's like Bayonetta, even though, you know, for people who don't realize, Bayonetta was hinted at when the game was still, like, before the game came out. And then when they complained, once she actually got in, I found that to be a bit ironic. But anyways, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, I can definitely see them being there, because, like, that was Nintendo exclusive, as far as I know. I don't know if you can get it on other systems now. But I mean, you know, they worked well. Rare worked well with Nintendo to make the Donkey Kong games. They have a lot of good, what's that called? Business something or other connections. Forget about that. They have a good move set. I mean, people have already, guessed the heck out of these moves, and they are pretty impressive, what people come up with. But I don't feel like there's a lot that makes it terribly unique, like they did with Simon Belmont. He's got a whip. He's probably got the longest range of any Smash attack ever. But I feel like they can make it pretty unique. I bet they could pull something out from the two games that came out, not counting Nuts and Bolts. We're forgetting about that one. But from the other two games, I feel like they could pull something out of there. Something unique, something interesting. There's probably another character from Microsoft, um, like Minecraft Steve. They could probably do that because Minecraft is on Switch now, but I'd say it feels out of place. Then again, villagers in Smash Brothers, and that's pretty out of place. At least with Minecraft, you are allowed to fight monsters and creatures, so they have that going for them. And I feel like having some kind of crafting mechanic in the special moves would be pretty cool. Like, like down special to craft armor, and then that'll last for a number of hits and reduce damage, or craft weapons. So it's like you got a wooden sword that does somewhat damage, then you can get all the way maximum to the diamond sword, which will probably do the most damage, and then like that'll kind of like with Robin's Levin sword, he'd probably have to toss that after a number of hits or something like that. I feel like that would be a pretty cool mechanic. Other characters, I know this one's kind of controversial, not in the bad way, but just in the hard to get people to agree upon it. But I feel like due to the time the Smash Vote came out, I feel like Sans from Undertale might actually have a chance because, they have a pretty, big fan base. I don't want to say it's like perfect or anything, but they have a big fan base. And, considering that it was popular around the time of the vote, it would make a lot of sense that a number of votes would have been casted towards Sans because it's like, oh, hey, we love the guy, let's put him in there. The question is, even if Undertale does get a chance into Smash Brothers, would it really be Sans or would it be Frisk, the character you actually play as, or would it be both? I feel like that might be a hard one to decide. With Castlevania, you got two characters, although one is an Echo Fighter, but I feel like you could set some things aside to make those two characters work. And I'll be honest, in my personal opinion, I do kind of like the Undertale game. I like the idea of having to choose whether or not you want to be a pacifist, if you want to be a genocidal maniac, or if you want to be somewhere in between. Like, it was a very interesting game for its time, and even though, like, for now, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a sequel being made at all, it's a pretty interesting game, and I definitely would recommend it. But if you don't care, then, you don't need to worry about that. You can just skip ahead to this video. Just click the arrow forward button until we stop hearing about it. But I definitely can guess a few moves for both Frisk and Sans in terms of what the characters could do. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that. But otherwise, I feel like they definitely would have a fun stage. Not necessarily going through like the town or anything like that, but just like the fight scene, fight box, fight animation. Like when you get into a fight, basically, when it's battle mode, that would probably be a stage for them. And then you could do stuff like interact with the text on the screen, kind of like when you're shooting the credits at the end of the Smash Brothers games. You could probably like hit an option to either just attack whatever creatures there, and it would like randomly appear as different enemies, and they would all do a move that would rain down the various bullets coming down on you. It would definitely be quite an interesting thing, even if they just have the stage. It's not unusual for them to have a stage from a game that has no characters actually in Smash Brothers, like with Pilot Wings and with Smashville and Brawl. There was no villager in there. So I could definitely see them at least putting a stage in there, or even like with Rayman and Bitrunner, just like put in a trophy or something. That would be pretty nice. But like, yeah, considering it's one game made by pretty much one person that had help, I'm not sure if there'd be a lot of good cooperation, if I'm saying that right. I don't know that there would necessarily be like a good connection between Nintendo and Toby Fox. I don't want to say like that they're evil or they're rivals or anything like that. They could be on like the best of terms, but like because again, this is more characters. Like the characters we've seen so far have mostly been from like the past, from the NES and SNES era, with the exceptions of characters like Chrom and Dark Samus, and with Isabelle now. You know, there are a lot of characters from the past, and they're not going too far into the current era in terms of new characters. Like Chrom is probably the closest in terms of newly revealed fighters. So maybe, maybe not. That's what I'm going to say for Undertale. Okay, done talking about Undertale now. I do have another idea for a character. I'll save that one for the end and possibly do a separate video on that. But there is one person I think has a pretty good chance of getting in. I'd be very excited to see this character get in there. But, you know, again, leave that for the end. And I'll end the video right now so you can end your suspense, and so that you don't have to skip the video. And so I will contact you guys in the next one. So until next time.
They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. You know me. I did my research, watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. Like the others, you were strong and swift and brave. A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me. Can you guess? Luck.